The flashes outside the courthouse paint a chaotic scene. Reporters shouting questions, fans holding signs half in support of Meri, half defending Kody and Robyn. It's not just a trial anymore. It's a public reckoning for America's most controversial polygamous family. Inside, the courtroom is ice cold. The walls are lined with journalists, the air thick with whispers and judgment. Meri Brown walks in first, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor. She isn't wearing her usual soft smile this time. Her face is stone. Her hands tremble slightly as she clutches her notes, but her eyes, they burn with quiet fury. Kody sits opposite her, next to Robyn, their attorney leaning in to whisper something soothing. Robyn doesn't lift her head, feigning that she doesn't see Meri, but the quiver in her fingers gives her away. The judge, a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes, enters, and everybody rises. "Court is now in session," says the bailiff. Meri takes a slow breath. For years, she was the silent wife, the one who endured, forgave, and stayed loyal no matter what, but not anymore. Not after what she found. Sometimes silence doesn't mean peace. Sometimes it means that there's a storm coming. The judge's voice cuts through the tension. "Mrs. Brown, you are here today seeking restitution for emotional and financial misconduct within a dissolved spiritual union. Is that correct?" Meri nods. "Yes, Your Honor, but this case is about more than money." Robyn fidgets uncomfortably. Kody stares straight ahead, his jaw tight. The first witness is called, Meri's former family accountant. He's nervous, flipping through papers. "There were irregular transfers from Meri's business account," he explains, "to a trust controlled by Mr. Brown and Mrs. Robyn Brown." Kody's attorney objects, saying the transfers were consensual as part of the shared assets of the family. But Meri's attorney, firm and steadfast, rises. "Your Honor, these were done after Meri left the marriage. Without her consent, the courtroom murmurs. Even the judge leans forward. Robyn leans in and whispers to Kody, 'Don't react. Please.' Kody can't resist, though, shaking his head with a bitter smile. 'This is ridiculous,' he says under his breath. Meri catches it. 'You always said it was ridiculous when I questioned you,' she shoots back. 'Now you'll have to answer to more than me.' The judge glares. 'Mrs. Brown, please refrain from direct confrontation. Tension could choke the air.' The judge calls for the next piece of evidence, a folder of printed emails, and the courtroom technician projects them onto a screen. The subject line reads, "Trust Transfer Agreement, Robyn's signature needed." Robyn's gaze flees to the screen, flashing with panic. She whispers something to her attorney. Meri's lawyer doesn't miss a beat. "We'll move Meri's funds quietly. She won't notice until the next quarter. Kody says she's too emotional to handle business matters anyway." Gasps fill the courtroom. Robyn's lips quiver. "Those aren't real," she whispers. But the timestamps, the digital signatures, they all match. Meri closes her eyes for a moment. The betrayal is old, but hearing it out loud makes it burn all over again. The judge says to her, "Mrs. Brown, when did you first discover this?" Meri replies in a steady, emotionful voice. 2 months after I left. I was trying to access my savings for a home loan and the bank said my account was restructured. I didn't even know what that meant until I saw the transfers." Kody's attorney again interrupts, "Your Honor, this is a family misunderstanding, not fraud." Meri bends forward, her eyes fixed on him. "A misunderstanding doesn't come with forged documents." Even the courtroom reporters freeze their pens. The judge makes a note. During recess, Kody stands near the defense table, whispering harshly to Robyn, "You said those emails were deleted." Robyn's voice cracks. "I thought they were. I didn't know she had backups." Their attorney tells them to keep calm while the panic in their faces is quite evident. Across the room, Meri sits alone, staring at her hands. Her attorney approaches her quietly. "You did great in there. Stay composed." She nods. "I just want them to hear the truth, finally." The bailiff calls everyone back. The judge comes back onto the bench with a new stack of documents. "Mrs. Brown," she says, "the court has just received an anonymous submission relevant to your case." Everyone turns as a court clerk delivers a sealed brown envelope. Meri's attorney looks at it curiously. "Who sent this?" The judge shakes her head. "It came this morning with no name. It's labeled Exhibit F, Personal Letter." The clerk opens it carefully. Inside is a printed letter dated nearly 5 years ago, signed by Robyn. The words are shaky, emotional, but clear. "Kody, I cannot keep this secret from Meri much longer. It's eating me alive. You promised it was temporary, that once the trust was in my name, we'd fix it. Please don't make me choose between love and honesty." Robyn gasps out loud. "That's not..." Kody slams his fist on the table. "Stop reading that. It's personal." The judge glares. "Mr. Brown, you will control yourself." Meri doesn't move. She just stares at them, her eyes glistening but proud. The silence stretches for what feels like forever. Cameras flash, reporters whisper. Robyn hides her face in her hands. The judge speaks finally, the tone of her voice icy. "This court will investigate the authenticity of this letter. Until then, it will remain sealed as potential evidence." Meri exhales, a single tear slipping down her cheek. Kody turns toward her. "You're destroying this family," he whispers. She doesn't flinch, holding his gaze. "No, Kody. You destroyed it when you chose secrets over honesty." The judge calls for adjournment until the next morning. Everyone rises to their feet. Robyn sprints from the room first, shaking, her attorney in hot pursuit. Kody tarries, the color drained from his face. Meri sits for a long moment, breathing deeply, watching them go. Her lawyer bends over and whispers, "You know this letter changes everything." Meri nods. "It isn't the letter," she says in a quiet voice. "It's the truth behind it." The camera of the imagined documentary focuses on her face, calm, determined, and heartbreakingly human. The screen fades to black, revealing a caption, "Day 1 of the Brown versus." Brown trial wraps up with new evidence that could change the entire case. The next morning, the courthouse looks different. Outside, the crowd has at least doubled. Some hold signs reading "Justice for Meri." Others defend Kody and Robyn. But inside, beyond those oak doors, that energy has shifted. What started as a property dispute has evolved to something much darker. Meri enters quietly, wearing a navy suit and carrying a single folder. Her face is calm but distant, like someone walking through a battlefield she's already accepted. Kody and Robyn sit at the defense table, whispering nervously. Robyn's makeup is heavier today, as if trying to cover the sleepless night in her eyes. Kody's confidence looks forced, a thin shell over deep cracks. The judge takes her seat. "We are reconvened for day 2 of Brown versus." Brown Meri's attorney rises. "Your Honor," the plaintiff calls Christine Brown to the stand. The courtroom ripples with surprise as Christine, formerly Meri's sister wife and Kody's third wife, walks in. She appears calm but tense, her hands clasped tightly together. She sits down and glances briefly toward Kody, who refuses to meet her gaze. The lawyer begins softly. "Christine, you were part of the family for over 25 years, correct?" "Yes," says Christine. "I left 2 years ago." "How would you describe your relationship with Meri before you left?" Christine takes a deep breath. "Complicated, but honest. I know how much she tried to make it work, but Kody always made her feel like an outsider." The room is silent. Robyn shifts uncomfortably. Christine continues. "After Robyn came into the picture, things changed. We all noticed it. Kody started moving money around, talking about a trust that would protect the family. But I remember him saying once, 'Meri doesn't need to know everything.'" Kody's attorney immediately objects, saying that it is hearsay. The judge allows it for context. Meri stares at Christine, grateful yet pained. They had their differences, but Christine at that moment gave her something nobody else did: validation. The lawyer asks, "Christine, did you ever witness any financial decisions made without all wives present?" Christine nods slowly. "More times than I can count." The attorney presses on. "And were these decisions typically in Kody and Robyn's favor?" Christine's voice hardens. "Always." Kody sighs sharply, shaking his head. "This is a witch hunt," he says. Christine looks right at him. "No, Kody. It's just the truth you don't want to face." The courtroom has a sensation of a storm brewing in slow motion. The judge looks over toward the gallery where another ex-wife, Janelle Brown, sits quietly. "Mrs. Janelle Brown," the judge says, "would you be willing to testify?" Janelle hesitates, then stands. "If it helps the truth, yes." She strides towards the stand, her tone calm, collected, even, and steady, like someone used to holding chaos together. "Mrs. Brown," Meri's attorney begins, "you handled much of the family's bookkeeping over the years, correct?" "Yes," Janelle says. "Kody trusted me with budgets, until Robyn came in." What changed after that? Janelle's face hardens. Everything. He made me close joint accounts, moved funds into something called the Brown Family Future Trust. But when I asked for details, he said it was private between him and Robyn. The courtroom erupts in murmurs. Robyn whispers frantically to her lawyer while Janelle continues. I tried to warn Meri, she says quietly, but she wouldn't listen then. She wanted to believe Kody still respected her. Meri's eyes fill, but she doesn't cry. She just nods, acknowledging the truth and the pain behind it. The judge calls the courtroom to order. Mr. Brown, she says firmly, is there a reason funds were transferred into an account in only your and Robyn's names? Kody straightens. Your Honor, those were family funds. Robyn and I were just organizing the finances. Without the consent of the other parties concerned, he presses. Kody's silence is his answer. The judge leans back. I see. The next thing that happens is Robyn gets to her feet, tears running down her face. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she cries. We just wanted to protect what was left of the family. I didn't want anyone hurt. Meri watches her, almost sadly. Then why did you sign my name on documents I never saw? Robyn shakes her head vigorously. I didn't, Kody said. She stops herself, too late realizing what she's just let on. Gasps echo through the courtroom, and even the judge's eyebrows lift slightly. Kody glares at her, furious. Don't talk without counsel. But it's too late. The damage is done. Meri's attorney seizes the moment. Your Honor, we request verification of all financial signatures and digital trails between these parties. Given the contradictions in statements, we also request a review of family lineage records referenced in these trusts. The judge frowns. Family lineage records? Yes, says the lawyer, continuing. The trust includes provisions linked with inheritance based on biological parentage, which, according to the documents, may not align with prior declarations. The courtroom falls silent. The air feels frozen. The judge glares sharply at Kody. Mr. Brown, are there any inconsistencies in those lineage documents? Kody stammers, I don't remember. Then we'll find out, the judge says sternly. The judge then turns to the clerk. Issue an immediate order for DNA testing related to the parties listed in the Brown Family Trust. Results to be filed confidentially. The courtroom erupts. Reporters whispering, cameras clicking, Robyn sobbing into her hands. The color drains from Kody's face. That's not necessary, he says curtly. It's a family matter, not... The judge cuts him off. Mr. Brown, if financial assets are tied to biological lineage, this court has a duty to verify. Meri sits in silence, processing. She hadn't expected this, not today. She wanted truth about money, not blood. But deep down, she knows something's been off for years. Certain dates, certain whispers, they never made sense. Her lawyer leans in, whispering, this could change everything. She exhales. I know. Across the room, Robyn can't stop shaking. Kody, she whispers, what if... He tightens his grip on her arm, whispering through clenched teeth, say nothing. But his eyes have given him away, a flicker of panic that he cannot conceal. The judge declares a recess. Court to resume upon processing the DNA orders. Until then, both parties maintain confidentiality. As people start to head out, Christine approaches Meri quietly. You okay? Meri nods faintly. I didn't want it to go this far, she whispers, but maybe it had to. Christine squeezes her shoulder. Sometimes truth demands more than we're ready for. Kody storms past, ignoring them both, as his lawyer tries to keep him in check. Robyn follows, her face ashen, her eyes red and distant. Meri watches them go, not with anger, but with something heavier. Closure, maybe, or the weight of finally being seen. The reporters outside swarm in instantly. Meri, what are your feelings about the DNA order? Do you think Kody's hiding something? She doesn't answer. She just says softly, I think the truth has waited long enough. The screen fades to black as the narrator's voice closes the section. Day 2 ends with a bombshell. DNA testing ordered in the sister-wives courtroom. But what those tests reveal will destroy more than just reputations. 3 days later, the courthouse feels colder, heavier. The media has gone wild. It seems every major outlet is doing some sort of story on the sister-wives DNA scandal. The world wants to know whose truth will survive the courtroom storm. Meri arrives early, stepping out of a black SUV with her lawyer by her side. Her expression is unreadable. Calm on the outside, chaos within. She's not here for revenge anymore. She's here for closure. Across the street, Kody and Robyn walk hand in hand, faces tight, eyes avoiding cameras. Robyn's makeup can't hide how swollen her eyes are. Kody mutters something under his breath, something about how this should have stayed private, but privacy died the moment secrets became evidence. The courtroom hums like radio static until she enters. The judge walks in, and the whispering stops. "We are here today to review the results of the court-ordered DNA testing," she says. The clerk carries in a small sealed envelope marked "Confidential Court Evidence." Everyone's eyes lock onto it. Meri's heart thuds in her chest like thunder. Kody's jaw sets. Robyn clutches his arm, whispering, "Please, whatever happens, we stay together." Before the envelope is opened, Meri's lawyer stands. "Your Honor, before the results are revealed, my client would like to make a statement." The judge nods. "Proceed." Meri gets to her feet. Her voice shakes for a moment, then stabilizes. "I never wanted it to come to this," she says softly. "But when lies build walls, truth is the only thing that can tear them down. This isn't about revenge or fame. It's about honesty, something that's been missing from my life for far too long." She looks directly at Kody. "You built a family on the idea of unity. But what you built was fear. Fear of speaking out, fear of not being enough. I lived in that fear for years. But today, I'm done being afraid." The courtroom is dead silent. Even cameras appear to pause. Kody finally speaks. His tone is defensive, almost desperate. "You're twisting everything, Meri. I did what I thought was best for all of us. You never understood what it took to lead this family?" Meri's voice hardens. "Lead? You didn't lead, Kody. You controlled." The judge raises a hand. "That's enough. We'll let the evidence speak now." The clerk approaches the bench and hands him the sealed envelope. The judge opens it carefully, looking inside at the paper enclosed. Her face doesn't change, professional, neutral, but then she exhales softly. The courtroom waits. "According to the DNA analysis," the judge begins, "the parentage results regarding one of the minors listed under the Brown Family Trust are inconclusive for Mr. Kody Brown." The room ripples with gasps. Reporters scribble furiously. Robyn's head drops, her hands covering her face. Kody's eyes widen, the color draining from his face. "Inconclusive?" repeats Meri's lawyer. "Meaning?" The judge explains. "Meaning, the DNA shows a probability that Mr. Brown is not the biological father of one of the children." The room erupts. Cameras click like gunfire. People gasp and whisper and shout. The judge slams her gavel. "Order! Order in the court!" Meri's hands are shaking. She had not expected this. Not this type of truth at any rate. She looks at Robyn, who is sobbing quietly, saying something only Kody can hear. Kody leaps up. "This is ridiculous!" he yells. "Those tests must be wrong. This is a setup." The judge warns him. "Mr. Brown, one more outburst and I'll hold you in contempt." He sits down, but his anger simmers like a volcano. His lawyer frantically whispers to him, trying to quiet him down, but Kody's unraveling already. Meri says nothing. She watches, not with satisfaction, but with sorrow. A man who once controlled every word, every choice, is now helpless in a system he can't manipulate. Robyn finally speaks through tears. "It was before we were married," she blurts. "It was a mistake, I swear." "Kody, I didn't mean for any of this." The room erupts again. Meri's eyes widen. The judge slams the gavel. "Enough. Mrs. Brown, I advise you to stop speaking until your counsel allows it." But Robyn can't stop. Years of guilt are spilling out. "He knew," she cries. "He knew it wasn't certain, but he made me promise never to tell anyone." Meri's jaw clenches. "So, all this time," she says in a low tone, "you both let me take the blame for being cold, for being bitter, while you hid the real secret?" Robyn starts sobbing. Kody doesn't bat a lash and just stares into space, stone-faced. The judge orders a recess. "We will reconvene after the lunch break to decide next steps." But the courtroom doesn't budge. Everyone's just sat there, stunned, heavy, broken. Reporters rush out to call their editors. "Sister wives DNA shock." Headlines are already forming. Meri stands silently, her lawyer at her side. Christine and Janelle sit behind her, their eyes wide with shock. Christine leans in toward Meri, whispering, "Meri, are you all right?" She nods faintly. "I don't know. But for the first time, I feel free." Outside, all is mayhem. Screaming fans, flashing cameras. Kody pushes through the mass, yelling at a producer who has the audacity to ask, "Kody, is it true you're not the father?" Robyn continues after him, weeping into her scarf while her lawyer keeps yelling, "No comment, no comment." Inside the courthouse, Meri sits alone at the bench, staring at the empty witness stand. The judge calls everyone back after the break. Her tone is colder now. "Given the emotional volatility of this case," she says, "this court will review whether additional testing is required. However, the current results are valid under state standards. Kody's attorney objects based on contamination, but the judge cuts him off. This is not just a civil case anymore," she says. "If there was fraud or records falsification in regard to financial trust created based on false parentage, then this could become a criminal matter." Meri's eyes widen slightly. Criminal proceedings. That wasn't the goal, but maybe it's the only way this story can truly end. Kody looks furious, quietly telling his lawyer, "We end this now." "Settle. Do whatever it takes." Meri hears him. "You can't buy silence anymore, Kody," she says softly. The judge concludes the session with one last instruction. Both parties will return tomorrow for closing statements. Until then, all media contact is prohibited. The gavel hits. Court adjourned. They all start filing out, with Kody remaining seated. Robyn leans against him, crying, whispering, "I'm sorry. I thought it would never come out." He doesn't say anything. His face is blank, yet his eyes are cold. Meri turns one last time before she leaves. Their eyes meet. For the first time in years, she sees fear in his. Not control, not arrogance, just fear. She steps out into the blinding sunlight, and the crowd erupts once more. Microphones, cameras, shouting, but she does not say anything. She only walks on with her head high. The narrator's voice concludes the section. The DNA results shook the sister wives' world to its core. But the real shock is yet to come. Because tomorrow, Meri will bring evidence that even the judge never saw coming. The steps of the courthouse become a battleground the next morning. The cameras line every inch of the pathway, with reporters shouting questions and microphones thrust forward like weapons. "Meri, how do you feel after the DNA bombshell?" "Robyn, did you hide the truth from Kody?" "Kody, will you take the stand today?" But nobody answers. Because today isn't about cameras. Today is about consequences. Meri walks in first, in a deep navy suit, hair tied back, no makeup, no smile. She's not here for the spotlight. She's here to finish what she started. Behind her, Christine and Janelle walk in, silent. They're not part of the case, but everyone knows they're here to witness history. Across the hall, Kody and Robyn enter late. Kody's eyes are bloodshot, his jaw locked. Robyn looks smaller than ever, her hand grasping a tissue. They take their seats, and the judge enters. "We are here for closing statements," she says firmly, "and any new evidence to be presented must be approved before submission." Meri's lawyer rises. "Your Honor, we do have new evidence, something not previously included in discovery." Kody's attorney immediately objects. "This is last-minute theatrics." The judge raises his hand. "Mr. Brown, your counsel will have an opportunity to respond. Proceed." Meri's attorney approaches the evidence table, where she lays down a small black flash drive. "This," she says, "was found during an audit of the Brown family trust accounts. It contains recorded conversations, private ones, between Mr. and Mrs. Brown and between Mrs. Brown and Mrs. Robyn Brown." The courtroom erupts into gasps. Kody fidgets uncomfortably. Robyn looks as though she might keel over. The judge leans forward. "Are these recordings verified?" "Yes, Your Honor. They were extracted directly from a shared digital account tied to the family trust." The judge nods. "You may proceed." The lawyer plugs the flash drive into the courtroom system. The screen turns on. Static crackles. Then a familiar voice fills the room. Kody's. "Listen, Robyn, no one needs to know, okay? We'll keep the paperwork clean. The trust will stay the same. Meri won't question it. She never does." Then Robyn's voice. "What if she finds out? What if someone asks about the dates? Kody. Then we say it's a clerical error. Trust me, Robyn, she won't push back. She never does." The courtroom erupts, gas, whispers, incredulity. The judge slams her gavel down. "Silence!" Kody stands. "That's taken out of context," he shouts. "That's not what it sounds like." But nobody believes him, because it sounds exactly like what it is: manipulation, fraud, deceit. Meri just sits there quietly, tears in her eyes, but not of sadness. It's relief, the kind that comes when you finally stop pretending. Her lawyer continues, "There's more, Your Honor." A second clip starts, this time only Robyn's voice. She's crying. "All I wanted was for him to love me. He told me that if I kept quiet about the baby, he would protect me. He said that it would destroy everything if anyone knew. I didn't know what else to do." You can hear the pain in her words, not scripted, not fake, just pure guilt. Meri covers her mouth. She had no idea the depth of Robyn's fear. The courtroom is dead silent now. The reporters have even stopped writing. The judge clears her throat. "Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Robyn Brown, either of you wish to make an additional statement before I render my judgment?" Meri nods. She stands and heads to the middle of the courtroom. Her voice is steady now, no longer emotional or shaky, but real. "I gave this family everything," she says. "My time, my heart, my faith, and in return, I got silence, secrets, and shame. I spent years believing that I was the problem, that if I just tried harder, he'd love me again. But you can't fix something that was never real to begin with. This case isn't just about money or names on paper. It's about truth, and what happens when you stop running from it." She looks at Kody right into his eyes. "For years, you used love like a weapon. Now, the truth is my armor." She returns to her seat, whispers fill the room suddenly. Robyn wipes her tears. Slowly, she stands up. "I don't know what to say," she starts off. "I thought I was protecting our family. But I was just protecting his lies. And now my kids have to grow up watching this, seeing what happens when you let fear win." She turns to Meri. "I'm sorry. I really am." Meri nods, not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. The judge takes a deep breath. The court finds there is sufficient evidence of intentional misrepresentation and breach of financial trust, she says. Further investigation into the Brown family trust will proceed under state supervision. Kody starts to shout again, but his lawyer clamps a firm grip on his arm. "Don't," he whispers. But it's too late. The damage is done. The judge continues, "Mrs. Meri Brown is hereby granted full separation from all financial and legal ties to the Brown family trust. She is free to pursue restitution." Gasps again, this time from Kody's side of the room. Meri closes her eyes. It's over. The judge turns to her. "Mrs. Brown, would you like to make a final statement?" Meri stands again. Her voice is soft, but every word cuts through the silence. "I don't need revenge," she says. "I just need peace. For when you live too long in somebody else's lie, freedom feels like truth reborn." The judge nods and then bangs the gavel one last time. Court is adjourned. The chaos erupts once more as everyone leaves. Cameras flash, reporters scream, and headlines roll in seconds later. Meri Brown exposes Kody's secret recordings. DNA, fraud, and trust scandal rock sister wives family. Robyn confesses in court, "He made me keep the secret." Kody storms out, security surrounding him, his face twisted in anger, not at losing, but at being seen. She follows, crying silently and clutching her purse like it is her last piece of safety. Meri walks the opposite way, no cameras, no crowd, just her and Christine and Janelle walking quietly towards the parking lot. Christine finally breaks the silence. "You did it, Meri. You really did it." Meri smiles faintly. "No," she says. "The truth did it." They reach the exit. Sunlight floods in, bright, warm, almost symbolic. Meri steps out first, taking a deep breath. In the final shot, as the camera pans up, a voiceover closes the section. In the end, justice didn't come from anger, it came from courage. But what Meri doesn't know is that this story isn't finished yet, because the fallout from Kody's empire has only just begun. Kody attempts to speak, but the judge sharply cuts him off. "Mr. Brown, you are this close to contempt. Sit down." He slams back into his seat, glaring at Meri. "You did this to destroy me," he spits. She finally answers, "No, Kody. You did this to yourself. You destroyed us years ago. I'm just showing the world what that looks like." The courthouse steps are a frenzy. Reporters swarm, cameras flash relentlessly, microphones thrust forward. Fans cheer for Meri. Others shout in defense of Kody and Robyn. It's chaos. a mixture of triumph, shock, and disbelief. Meri emerges first, her heels sharply clacking against the marble steps. She isn't running from the cameras or the questions. She walks deliberately, not hurrying, her calm, poised self. Her expression doesn't betray much, but in her eyes lie traces of years of pain, betrayal, and now, quiet satisfaction. Christine and Janelle follow right behind, silently supporting her. Neither says a word. Words aren't needed. Their presence alone says it all. Mrs. Brown, a reporter yells, "How does it feel to finally have justice?" Meri takes a deep breath. Justice isn't about revenge. It's about truth, and the truth is finally out there. That's all I've ever wanted. Kody and Robyn leave the courtroom separately, flanked by their lawyers. Kody's face has gone pale, his confidence in shreds. He says nothing to nobody, doesn't even address the cameras, just walks, his steps heavy with incredulity. Robyn leaves behind him, her face streaming with silent tears, muttering apologies under her breath. The courtroom is all but empty at this point. The judge has rendered her decision, and an uncomfortable, deafening silence pervades the room. Employees start to break down documents and recording devices. For the first time in years, the case isn't about appearances or image. It's about accountability. Meri sits quietly in her seat for a long moment, reflecting. She's free. Free from financial manipulation, free from lies, free from fear. Yet, the emptiness that accompanies victory is profound. She had expected anger, maybe vindication, but instead, she feels this strange calm of closure. Christine leans over and whispers, "It's over now." Really over. Meri nods. Spado, over. But the consequences will ripple for years. Outside, the media frenzy continues. Reporters push through crowds, shouting for statements as Meri remains focused, keeping her composure. She knows the story isn't just about the courtroom anymore. It is about what happens to the family afterward. Across town, chaos erupts in the Brown household. Kody and Robyn come home, slamming doors behind their entrances. Robyn collapses into a chair, crying. Kody paces the living room, talking to himself. "I can't believe this happened," he says. "All those years, and now this." Meri ruined everything. Robyn looks up, her voice trembling. "We weren't honest, Kody. You knew what the DNA results would show. You let it happen anyway." He stops pacing, staring at her. I just didn't think it would go this far." "You didn't think, Kody?" She snaps, tears streaming. "You made me lie? You made me hide the truth, and now we're exposed." The world saw what we really are. Back at the courthouse, Meri enters an awaiting SUV. She leans back and closes her eyes, finally allowing herself a deep breath. "I'm done hiding," she says to herself. "I'm done pretending that silence keeps me safe. The truth doesn't hurt anymore. It frees me." Christine and Janelle look at each other and give a slight smile. "You did it, Meri," Christine says. "You finally took control." Meri nods. "It wasn't about control. It was about justice. For me, for the truth, and for anyone else who ever felt powerless in that family." The narrative shifts as reporters continue their frenzy outside. "What will happen to the family now?" they shout. "Will there be criminal charges? Who's responsible for the trust fraud?" Meri doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. Her statement to the judge and her calm composure outside speak louder than any media interview could. She has made her point. She is no longer the victim, no longer the silent wife. She is a truth walking freely. Later that night, Meri comes home. The house is quiet, a complete contrast to the chaos in the courthouse. She sits on the edge of her bed and reflects on the last 10 years. The marriages, the manipulation, the betrayals, the heartbreaks. It all comes flooding back. Her phone buzzes. It's a message from a close friend. "You did what no one else could. The truth will set everything right." Meri smiled faintly and tapped back. It's not about setting things right. It's about being done with lies. Later, Meri receives an unexpected guest. The doorbell rings and she opens the door to reveal one of the children from the family. A quiet, uncertain child, always caught in the middle of secrets and manipulation. The child steps inside shyly. "Meri, can I talk to you?" Meri falls to a knee, smiling softly. "Of course." "What's on your mind?" They sit together and the child starts to talk. Of confusion, of fear, of the final understanding that the lies were never their fault. Meri listens, holding their hand. "It's okay. You don't have to carry this anymore. The truth is out now, and it's safe to feel everything you've been holding inside." The camera zooms out while Meri embraces the child, both of their eyes wet with a mix of tears, sorrow, relief, and hope. The courthouse drama may be over, but the family's journey has only just begun. Outside, the headlines continue to scream the story of betrayal, DNA secrets, and court victories. However, the story inside for Meri has changed from chaos to quiet empowerment. At last, as the day dimmed, she sat beside the window, sipping tea and reflecting. "I cannot change the past," she whispered, "but I can live my future with honesty and peace." The screen slowly turns to black, with the audience having one thing in mind: